Because she was considered unattractive and unwanted, the girl tricked the boy she had secretly loved for 4 years into coming to her home on graduation day. Yet, the man's rationality far exceeded her imagination. He simply told her fairy tales all night long, and nothing else happened. They traveled together during holidays, swam together in the scorching heat, and hugged each other when hurt. To prove that pure friendship could exist between men and women, the boy proposed they meet only once a year, on July 15th. Though Emma wasn't content with just being friends, she agreed readily because she firmly believed love grows over time. 1989 marked their first trip after graduation. Emma, dreaming of being a writer, went alone to London, ready to soar to success from her tiny rented room. Like all inexperienced young people, she fantasized about a wonderful future.
I've got a feeling that this time next year, you're going to take London by storm.
Sadly, life soon dealt her a harsh blow. Before achieving fame, Emma's manuscripts were repeatedly rejected, bringing her no income. To make ends meet, she had to work in a small restaurant, navigating daily between greasy kitchens and middle-aged men. From time to time, she also had to endure the crude behavior of some customers. The passionate dream she once held was slowly being worn away by life through each day of repetitive labor. Feeling helpless, she could only pick up the phone and seek some solace from Dexter. Yet, often, before she could say much, the call would cut off due to insufficient balance, leaving her with nothing but a helpless, "I miss you." Dexter's life, however, stood in stark contrast to Emma's. His handsome looks made everything smooth sailing for him. Women approached him daily, making him seem like the focus of many admirers. Dexter not only earned the chance to train as a television host, promising a bright career ahead, but also enjoyed a life of comfort and ease thanks to his parents' love. Even during his once-a-year meeting with Emma, he effortlessly attracted a beautiful woman they had just met. Emma felt a bit jealous, but constrained by their friendship, she couldn't say anything, only venting her frustration through constant sarcasm. After a year of effort, her writing dream showed no progress, but fortunately, she got promoted to restaurant manager, her curly hair perpetually smelling of cheese and dish soap. Dexter naturally understood Emma's grievance. He believed she wasn't without talent, just lacking some confidence amidst life's trivialities. So he suggested they go on vacation for their next meeting. Though a year lay between them and this plan, they still embarked on the trip in 1992. On the way, Emma laid down 3 rules: no flirting, no sharing a bed, no skinny dipping, and no getting heavily drunk. Only in this way could they maintain a pure friendship. Yet these very rules were exactly what Emma secretly wished to break. She had fallen for Dexter at first sight on graduation day. That night, their relationship almost crossed a line. But at the crucial moment, Emma chose to retreat. Dexter's aura was simply too dazzling. The fear of being together far outweighed the joy of her secret crush becoming real. Simultaneously, Emma knew all too well that Dexter was popular with women and would move on quickly. Keeping distance seemed the only way to sustain their bond. It was this misalignment of feelings that led them, through twists of fate, to end up becoming what they called friends. Dexter was also acutely aware of this. He never lacked female attention and tended to discard relationships easily after conquest. But Emma's intelligence, innocence, and passion for life made him suppress his desires, unwilling to lose her as his confidant. Thus they lingered on the edge of emotion, unwilling to let go of each other, yet afraid to cross the line. Perhaps the atmosphere at the bar that night was too romantic, or maybe Emma's long-suppressed feelings finally found an outlet. In that moment, she poured out all her years of infatuation for Dexter, even confessing she had written countless love poems for him, and that most of her story drafts were about him. Dexter simply smiled faintly. Then he pulled Emma towards the swimming pool, breaking their 3rd rule.
I thought about you. I think about you.
But just as Emma was immersed in this emotional moment,
The problem is I fancy pretty much everyone.
Perhaps because they were too accustomed to their friend identities, or perhaps due to deep-seated fear, Dexter also hesitated at the crucial juncture. Like Emma, he understood that as long as he didn't truly possess, he wouldn't face the pain of loss. Seeing the disappointment on Emma's face, Dexter seemed to make a silent decision. Yet, right at that moment, some thieves quietly stole Dexter's clothes, all carefully chosen designer items. His ridiculous appearance made Emma burst into laughter. That night, they still slept uneventfully in the same bed, and all the rules set at the start of their trip had been broken on the very first day. Time flew by, and soon it was 1993. By now, Dexter had become the most popular TV presenter in the country, his career and life seemingly flourishing. However, behind the facade of success, he was drowning in a decadent lifestyle of glitz and glamour, his inner emptiness growing deeper. Every time he got drunk, he would habitually call Emma, saying bizarre, nonsensical things. Yet these brief conversations were often cut short before they could deepen, interrupted by beautiful women beside him. Although Dexter was never short of admirers and possessed what others saw as a perfect life, whenever night fell and he was alone, a wave of loneliness would wash over him. It seemed he had countless things he wanted to tell Emma, but the words always stuck in his throat. As time passed, Dexter's body began to decline due to his long-term irregular lifestyle and indulgence in decadence. Even walking became difficult. What was even harder for him to bear was his mother being diagnosed with a terminal illness. He had planned to go home to be with his mother, but unexpectedly, he slept until evening, and his mother noticed something was wrong with her son.
Can I speak frankly?
You have to.
I think it's my prerogative. I know that you're going to be a fine man, decent, loving, accomplished, but I don't think you're there yet. And right now, well, I worry that you're not very nice anymore.
His mother's words felt like sharp knives, painfully piercing Dexter's heart. He wasn't sure when he had become like this. When leaving, his father confiscated Dexter's car keys. He was deeply disappointed with Dexter's behavior today. This was perhaps Dexter's hardest day. He wandered alone in the biting cold wind, his heart filled with loneliness and helplessness. Seeking comfort, he dialed Emma's number.
Can you call me when you get this? It's just I need to speak to someone. Not someone, you.
Emma, about to head out, seemed to hear the phone ring. She also knew it might be Dexter calling, but she didn't turn back to answer it. She had a date today, intending to try a new relationship. After all, life had to go on. Ian was a stand-up comedian, but his jokes weren't very funny. His career wasn't going well. He wasn't as handsome as Dexter, nor as witty, and he was always rambling, making things awkward. However, Ian's sincerity made up for these shortcomings. At least he gave Emma a sense of emotional security. So on this rainy night, she let Ian stay over. And when July 15th, 1994 came, she did not answer Dexter's call, filled with loneliness and longing. By 1995, Emma's life had entered a completely new stage. She became a secondary school language teacher, and with Ian, they were like an old married couple. Life was plain but steady and reassuring. Meanwhile, Dexter's life seemed bleak and directionless. With his mother gone, his father was often alone, and the media dubbed him the king of trash TV. The false noise and endless loneliness tormented Dexter. He longed to see Emma again, but Emma never had time. Whenever the cameras rolled late at night, Dexter transformed back into the wacky presenter. On the other side, Emma led her students to win a gold medal in drama. They seemed to live in different worlds, only able to secretly glimpse each other's lives through the screen. On July 15th, 1996, after 3 years, they agreed to meet once more. Emma sensed Ian's jealousy and said she could skip it, but Ian ultimately gave his silent consent. Emma dressed up carefully, arriving for the date looking exceptionally beautiful. Dexter remained as charming and suave as ever, though his talk occasionally revealed traces of his stand-up routine. They both tried hard to showcase the good parts of their lives, yet couldn't help but tease each other. Paradoxically, they both feared the other was doing better and resented that the happiness wasn't brought by themselves. Finally, Emma was the first to lose control emotionally. After all, an unremarkable school teacher couldn't compare to a presenter frequently in the newspapers. Dexter could only apologize repeatedly behind her. In those 3 years, they had both endured life's hardships and pain, leaving them exhausted.
If it's over, then we should just face facts and say goodbye.
Please!
I love you, Dexter. So much. I just don't like you anymore.
After speaking, Emma truly turned and disappeared into the lights, leaving Dexter standing there alone, frozen in place. What he didn't know was that this departure would last 4 years. Dexter felt utterly devastated. It felt like he hadn't just lost Emma, but the whole world. During those 4 years, Emma fell in love with swimming, accepted Ian's marriage proposal, and persisted in writing regularly. Her income steadily increased, gradually making her the main breadwinner of the household. Yet ultimately, she and Ian separated. Ian couldn't stand the long-term dynamic of the woman being the stronger partner, and found it even harder to accept that Emma still carried Dexter in her heart. Although he tried hard to forget this, when he accidentally unearthed poems Emma wrote for Dexter during university, his patience reached its limit. They had a fierce argument and finally chose to part ways peacefully. Meanwhile, Dexter's life also hit rock bottom. At 32, he was fired by the TV station. As such entertainment shows no longer suited him, the station now wanted young newcomers in their early 20s. To maintain the affluent lifestyle he was accustomed to, Dexter began using his fading charm to pursue Sylvie. He desperately needed someone to love him. Before meeting Sylvie's parents, Dexter practiced saying, "I love you," repeatedly, because Dexter had liked many people but never truly spoken this commitment. But as the future live-in son-in-law, his status in the family was naturally low. His 2 brothers-in-law often mocked his past career, frequently calling him the trash TV king. At family gatherings, they were even more merciless. What should have been a harmonious family game turned into heavy blows against Dexter, sometimes resembling a group attack aimed solely at him. Dexter could only choose to endure silently, truly living by the principle of not hitting back when struck and not talking back when insulted. Then in 2000, Dexter was invited to a classmate's wedding, never expecting to encounter Emma there. She looked more radiant than ever, and Dexter couldn't help but gaze at her. His former roommate Callum, now successful in his career, proactively offered Dexter a low-paying but stable position. It seemed everything was moving forward. Yet even Sylvie had begun to look down on the now down-and-out Dexter. Perhaps unable to quell the stirring feelings inside, Dexter still sneaked over to Emma's side. 4 years had passed. His life was almost a complete mess. The only change was his voice sounding more mature. Emma was still single, but about to publish a new book. Dexter sincerely congratulated her, then handed her the invitation to his wedding next month. He planned to leave his chaotic past behind and enter the sanctuary of marriage. Though Emma spoke words of congratulations, complex emotions surged within her. Tears uncontrollably slipped down their cheeks at that moment. They agreed that after this meeting they would never disappear from each other's lives again. But fate forced them to part. Perhaps only by keeping distance and not disturbing each other could they have more stable lives. Soon after, Dexter's child was born. He tried hard to be a good father and accepted the job position Callum offered. Yet he still failed to secure a happy and stable family. Perhaps this was retribution for his once wild and unrestrained life. Sylvie had an affair, and the other man was Callum. On July 15, 2003, unable to bear this humiliation, Dexter left with nothing, heading to London alone to find Emma. By this time, Emma had become a household name writer, her neat short hair and unique aura making her seem entirely renewed. Dexter wanted to be with Emma, but before he could speak, he discovered Emma already had a new boyfriend. Her boyfriend was not only handsome, but also an accomplished musician. Watching them embrace, Dexter felt the pain Emma had once endured. He decided to leave quietly. Yet Emma's heart was equally adrift and shattered. Calm on the surface, but waves 1,000 meters high churned inside her. She made a choice that followed her heart.
I thought I got rid of you. If you mug me about Dexter,
I swear I won't.
lead me on or let me down or go behind my back, I will murder you.
They kissed passionately, vowing never to part again. A full 15 years had passed since their first embrace. On July 15, 2004, they finally had a quick wedding, never needing to meet just once a year again. Dexter used his savings from over the years to open a cafe, learning how to take responsibility and facing life with maturity. Emma also became more confident, as if transforming from an ugly duckling into a graceful swan. Though approaching 40, they had finally become each other's most suitable partner. However, Emma wanted a child. Age constraints meant they tried for over a year without success, but they firmly believed that being together gave them endless time. Yet life is always unpredictable. That day, Emma finished swimming as usual and prepared to meet Dexter. She rode her bicycle through the streets of Paris, her mood light and free. Before leaving, she left a message for Dexter, but he didn't know it would be the last time he heard Emma's voice.
I'm sorry for being so snappy this morning. Just wanted to say you're a fine thing, Dexter Mayhew. I love you very much. Okay, there you go. Lucky you.
After Emma passed away in 2007, Dexter remained unable to move on, often drowning himself in bars. And when he saw a woman who resembled Emma, he couldn't help but approach her, always ending up beaten and bruised. Day after day, Dexter fell into a painful cycle. Sylvie, fearing he might lose his life if this continued, drove with their daughter to pick him up. During the ride, their daughter gently moved his bruised and battered hand aside. This small gesture made Dexter realize he had truly lost too much. When he woke again, he found himself back in his childhood home. His father didn't say much, only urged him to pull himself together and live well, as if Emma was still by his side.
I don't know if I can.
Of course you can. What do you think I've been doing for the past 10 years?
Dexter finally understood that his father had been enduring a similar pain all along. In 2009, not yet 50, Dexter's hair had turned gray, but his cafe had gained fame for its unique flavors. Ian came specifically to try it. He admitted he had once been intensely jealous of Dexter, even hating him for receiving all of Emma's love. Now Ian had his own family, and past grievances seemed to have vanished. Looking out the window at the warm scene, Dexter's thoughts drifted back to that morning long ago. If they hadn't made that foolish pact, if Emma had been more confident back then, if Dexter had had a sense of responsibility earlier, how might things have turned out? Perhaps in some unknown corner, within the cracks of time, Emma was still smiling, still young and full of life. Dexter didn't let grief consume him. Instead, he chose to move forward, carrying Emma's shadow. He told his daughter about Emma's dreams, carried her courage into his daily life, and made their unfinished story the way he lived now. Because true love doesn't end with parting. She merely stays in another form, letting him feel her presence still, within the flow of time.